All right, so because of the quarantine, I'll be doing this on my own for now, but round 2 of trying to do this lower control arm, we got to make it a little bit longer because apparently it didn't give us enough camber. So we're going from 1 3/8 inches to 1 5/8 inches, I believe, which we rounded up a little over 40 millimeters. So I have to grind out Mike's beautiful welds he did and see what I can do with it. So, I had to cut it all cut apart and everything. I'm gonna do it about 1 5/8 inches. Just gonna make the plate out of this. I'm gonna make a piece that bends over, up, all the way around, so it's a top cap that'll slide over. And then I'll put a nice support piece underneath. And I'm also gonna add this 3/8 wall 1x1 tubing, 2 pieces of it inside, so you could have extra strength as well. Basically what I'm trying to do is make these arms never break, so we could break his subframe or something else, because we're gonna over-engineer everything like we always do here at Poly Walnuts. All right, so I got the center supports done. We're welded in on this one. Got a little funky with some gaps there, but wasn't the perfect fit, but we made do. Now I'm trying to make this cap contraption I was talking about that's just gonna slide over it and be able to be one piece on top so as to be a little stronger, maybe look a little better, less welds. Just test fitting it right now to make sure I'm getting the right angles on it as I'm bending it. It's extremely hot because I had to warm it up a little to make it more pliable, but a little more hammer and dollying should have a pretty good fit on that end. And we're gonna do the same thing to this side and have it just sit flush down over that top like I was saying, just like a nice cap. And that'll be the top piece. So then once I get this done, you can test fit it, make sure everything works perfect. We did calculations, so this should be the right length we have to go. But I still have another arm to do. Gotta clean all the grease off of that, put a new ball joint in, which I tried picking up today. But because of this Corona thing, the stores are closing 2-3 hours early if they're even open at all. So just gotta try to make it fit into my schedule to get it over there. And then we'll have two good arms to use for his new steering angle kit, which I think we're gonna call the COVID kit, but that's up to him. I just shot that out there. Maybe you'll hear this while he's editing the video. So I got a little ahead of myself. I got the other side bent up. It's fitting pretty good. Started welding it on. Just gotta clean up the paint out of here and on. Once I get that welded on, make a nice flat bottom plate, connect it all together on the sides, and send it off to Michael for paint and fitment, I guess. So everything's going pretty good. I got the arm done. I don't know what color Mike's gonna paint it, so I'm not wasting my paint on that. I think it came out pretty good. Bent the cap, made that come over. There's the 2 pieces of 1x1 inside running along here. Fully welded all the way around. And I made a plate on the bottom. I kind of jumped ahead of myself and didn't, that's red because of the wall. It's not red. But I kind of jumped ahead of myself and forgot the video when I was cutting that out. But made it meet up there in that gap. Just hammered it down a little bit. So, other than that though, guess it's Mike's turn. And I got another arm to do. Good luck, Mike.
All right, so I was pleasantly surprised today by the sun coming out. It's a little windy, so there's gonna be some wind noise, guys, and just letting you know ahead of time. But Paulie also surprised me by banging out the other arm at work. So that arm has a new ball joint in it, and it's plated, extended the same way. All right, so I was pleasantly surprised today by the sun coming out. It's a little windy, so there's gonna be some wind noise, guys, and just letting you know ahead of time. But Paulie also surprised me by banging out the other arm at work. So that arm has a new ball joint in it, and it's plated, extended the same way. All right, so everything is loosely hung. So I'm just gonna grab a wrench and get everything tightened. It's crazy because this is literally like almost in line with the bumper. It's pretty close. So this is gonna be pretty extreme when it comes to front camber. So yeah, I'm gonna get this guy tightened in all down there and down there, like you guys saw in one of the previous videos. And then get the knuckle onto the ball joint here, this fresh ball joint. And then get it hooked up to the coilover, get the tie rod rethreaded, since I'm just gonna use the old stuff for right now. Brake caliper back on, and go to the other side. All right, so everything's back together using the old tie rods that were on it. Something I'm gonna be battling with this car, which I can't do anything about it, because like on the 240s, you can relocate the steering racks, and on like 350Zs and stuff, you can move the steering racks forward to help with steering bind. And basically what steering bind is that when I turn let me pull this. When I turn, see how the tie rod goes from straight to being angled forward? So that can cause a bind at lock. It's something if it does actually happen with me, it's something that I'll just have to pull myself out of, or just avoid like full lock, which kind of happened before. I found it was easier to drive the car when I would avoid like max lock. But yeah, so it's something I'm just gonna have to live with because it's the chassis I chose. Just wiping some grease and stuff off of here. We got the max camber setting on the camber bolt there, and this thing is going to have a bunch of camber. And you'll also see that this setup has more toe, positive toe, because of how the top hat is oriented in the engine bay now. So yeah, adjusted arm, 1 5/8. Let's get a wheel on here and see how much she pokes. So we have officially achieved full lobster fitment on the front of the 3000. That's a lot of camber. I can't wait to get this thing on a rack. That's towed out a little bit. But yeah, that's a 9.5 plus 15 with a 25 mil spacer, so minus 10. Yeah, pretty crazy. But hey, this setup should hopefully work a lot better than the old setup. Like I said, the other knuckles still aren't on, but this car is closer to being put on the ground. All right, so I'm gonna work on getting the other arm on and get this thing buttoned up and eyeball in alignment. And hopefully the next video will be a little test drive around the neighborhood, seeing how it feels just with the extended arms only. Same setup as before, just extended arms this time around. And yeah, we'll see how it feels. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little half and half video with me and Paulie, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So I figured I'd just add this to the end of the video. I got really impatient and I put the car together, put it back on the ground, and backed it up out of the driveway. It's not drivable at all right now. I can't get the toe in enough for it to be remotely drivable. So as you can see, there's a bunch of toe out right here, which is actually kind of like what I'll be running at the track. But this wheel's like fully turned. So literally just to back it from there to here, it was just like dragging the front wheels, and it was actually kind of difficult. But I ordered all the parts to make my tie rods. You guys will finally see. I'll give you a little sneak peek here as to what I'll be doing for the tie rods. Some Heim boys, and then I'll be able to get this suspension dialed in and get this thing on the road again. You know, hopefully once this quarantine lifts, we'll be able to go test it out on the street, get those new knuckles cut, and get this thing just back on the road and get back behind the wheel and start getting some content for you guys.